What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about Gears of War Reloaded. Just really quick, look, I have the game that's going to be a big part of this video. Have it here physically. Have it obviously on PS5. And I kind of just want to talk about how surreal it is. Might be a little bit odd because people are like playing it, and trust me, I will, and we'll have videos on it on Podcast Now. But I was thinking this in my head. A friend of the channel actually messaged me something very, very similar. I feel like there's this very similar sentiment going around in people's heads, and so let me explain it and let me see, if you guys in the comments have kind of the same thing. The reason why I've always thought something like this was surreal is just, look, I grew up, 2009 is when I got the PS3, right? I've told that story, and I've maybe only told it once or twice of when I was about to get the PS3, I actually did have a debate of like which one I should get. There were legitimate console wars back then, and my two closest friends got an Xbox 360. They had the Xbox, and I've told the story of like that's really how I experienced Gears of War, many of the Halo games, really like post Halo 2 or 3. I would play them at my friend's house. So a lot of the big Xbox games really from probably like '08, maybe for like 4 or 5 years, really came from my friends. So they were pressuring me. I remember like sitting in school and like them telling me like, no, you got to go 360. It's where we are. And then look, they got games like Halo. They got games like Gears of War. And I had played Halo. I don't think I'd ever played Gears of War at that point. And then I had my cousin who I looked at as a close friend, and he had told me get a PlayStation. Point being, okay, not to make a long story even longer, there was like a legitimate battle, okay? And it was really, at the time, it really was about the exclusives. It was about, hey, Gears, Halo, games like this, right? They're on Xbox. And then PlayStation. Now, to be fair, I got the PlayStation literally because of Prototype, okay? A third-party game. A game I could have played on either of them, right? But I got the PS3 bundle, and it came with Resistance, and it came with MotorStorm. And that started my love for those two franchises for sure. And within the first calendar year, I got Uncharted 1. I think I got Infamous 1, just in the first like 6-7 months. So it really started, my love of the PS3 era, like exclusives, okay? Point being is that it really was all about that, and that's really what was kind of in my head when I see this. And look, it's one thing to like say it and talk about it like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, to literally look and to see, and I mean, I know people are making the joke like GOW, right? Like there's a GOW game on PlayStation, and it's not God of War. That is funny. And there really are two of them. When I say GOW on like social media, I am like 99% likely talking about God of War, because again, that was kind of just what I grew up and got God of War 3, of course, about a year later after I got the PS3. So, but now to have another GOW, but like, you think about 2009, okay? I go back and I tell my 12-year-old self that Gears of War would one day, now technically we're not all the way, like this is a remaster of the original, okay? This is not Gears of War E-Day. That comes out next year. Does that come out on PlayStation day one? Probably not, I would assume, although a lot can change in a year, and to be honest with you, it might be likely that it comes out day one. I would probably take the under. I would just, assume that. So, as of right now, this is it. And to be fair, by the way, this isn't the only one, right? This is just powerful because this is one of Xbox's biggest franchises, period. When Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment and Sea of Thieves, when these kind of games come over, look, some of those games are extremely awesome. Hi-Fi Rush is one of my favorite games of the last, 5-10 years. So, it's not the first Xbox game to migrate. Hellblade 2 just did it, or maybe is about to do it. I forget the release date. We've gotten these games, but, and again, this isn't literally Gears of War 1, I suppose, and it's not Gears of War E-Day, but to have in my hand a physical, which I think that's why, by the way, that was so important for me. It's one thing to see it on your PlayStation dashboard, that is something, but to see a PS5 logo, and then you look below it, and you see Gears of War, that, to me, that's what makes it surreal. I mean, again, it makes a long story even longer, but if you went back, when not even my friends were fighting each other, but the people that were telling me why I should get each console, right? If I went back and I told my 12-year-old self that eventually Gears of War would be on PlayStation, or, hey, maybe 2, 3, 4 years from now, a God of War, a Spider-Man, whatever, it would be on Xbox. If you told me that, I don't even know what I would have thought. It's do I beat you up? Do I not listen to you because I think you're crazy. Like, what's the proper response to somebody saying, hey, in, well, I guess, what, 2000, so in 16 years, Gears of War, I mean, that is a long time. I will be honest. A lot can happen in almost 20 years, like, after that. So maybe it is more likely than I thought it would be, but I don't know. I just think it's kind of crazy that's just my story, too. I mean, obviously, it's a personal thing, but I think that is what resonates with so many people is, like, Gears of War means something to you, or when you grew up, like, you maybe have heard about these console wars and you maybe had to make a choice based off the exclusivity. And again, it's not the first game to do it, but like having it is just wild. It's just wild because like I grew up differently, and it's just really, and I will say, by the way, just super cool. Like I needed this. I wanted this. I'm very, very glad to have it. I've been saying before, like I might even play this game, to be honest with you, on Xbox just through Game Pass, right? I wasn't going to buy it twice, but my plan was, if this came late or whatever, get it through Game Pass, maybe even with this, maybe play it on Game Pass and then just have it physically just to say I have it and to add it to my physical collection on PlayStation. That was kind of always my plan. Now that it's real, pretty cool. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.